Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Patch 8.1 is here, and you know what that means? Leveling. Well, plus a bunch more, but today we're going to be talking about leveling. 8.1 mostly marks the end of the Battle for Azeroth beta testing period, and because of that, loads of people are excited to level up some new characters and enjoy a slightly more sensible version of the endgame. 8.1 actually does a lot for leveling, so there is loads to cover. I'm going to cover the changes, I'm going to suggest some strategies, including a few things that I really think do decently shake up the game. Guess what's even more exciting though? Imagine a level boost, but in real life. Well, okay, a boost to your skill level, not that one level that goes up once per year that we're all really worried about. Today's sponsor, Skillshare, has you covered. I've gained so much between their brilliant courses on story and filmmaking and personal productivity that I've been watching recently, and today I'm focusing in on their fundamentals of photo editing. It's a Skillshare original production, so it's just beautiful to watch, and I'm surrounded by all these amazing cameras and tech, and honestly, I have so much room to improve, and that's an improvement that'll directly translate over to the channel when you watch videos. Now, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands and thousands of courses. They're super affordable, and even better, the first 500 people who sign up through today's link will get 2 months of premium for free. It's perfect for the holidays and the new year. I think everyone should have a side hustle or be doing something outside of work, and Skillshare is the ideal way to kickstart that new endeavor. So the link is down below. First 500 people, 2 free months. Check it out. They're awesome, and they've been brilliant for supporting the channel. Alright, let's start off with the new stuff. So, Warmode. Blizzard have done something rather strange for Warmode that is super relevant to levelers. Basically, the Alliance have all but fled from Warmode, and that has led to a massive faction imbalance. Blizzard wants to tackle this problem in a bit of a strange way. They are adding in incentives for underrepresented factions in Warmode. You'll actually get a 30% experience bonus if your faction does not have enough Warmode players. Now, this could be an amazing leveling tool, especially for Alliance players, because Alliance typically have seen lower Warmode player counts. Now, I don't know why Blizzard think it's the best idea to bribe PvE players into their PvP mode as an ideal solution for the Warmode gameplay, but that's what we're dealing with. So be on the lookout for the Warmode Call to Arms bonus. 30% XP gain while you're leveling, pretty insane, especially on top of your heirloom gains as well. Now, in the short term, Horde players probably won't see a massive amount of this, but overall, once things evens out, it should be a little bit more balanced. Next, the experience requirement changes. These are massive. Blizzard have absolutely slashed experience requirements through much of the game, and this is so that you should overall be looking at a flat 30% reduction in overall 1 to 110 leveling time. Now, it's not all distributed evenly. It starts off quite small, being only 2.5% at level 20, but that quickly ramps up, being 30% decrease by the time you hit level 30 and 40% by level 60. It stays at 40% to level 66, and then slowly decreases to 25% by 80, and it stays at that 25% reduction until 110. Yep, that means the Legion leveling process is 25% faster, on top of your heirlooms and the Warmode change. So you by default are going to have a 30% experience requirement reduction. Maybe you could then have a 30% buff from the Call to Arms on top of your heirlooms, on top of your Dark Moon bonus, and then maybe you'll be a monk and have that bonus as well, which is just mental. But that's not where it ends, because next we have assaults. These are a new bit of content that's mainly designed for max level characters. Doing them gives you service medals, which we'll cover later, and some decent gear rewards. But much like the Legion invasions of the past, these are available to leveling characters. Now, the quests that would normally reward you endgame gear instead give you some bonus XP, just like with the invasions. That said, overall, they're not as powerful. They only give you about 250k XP. That's about a third of a level, but you do need to take some things into account. First up, their layouts are typically a lot nicer than Legion invasions. It means that sure, there's less XP on offer, but it also takes less time to do them. So that's at least a bit of a silver lining. Also, do remember that Legion invasions were added to the game in the same patch that updated heirlooms to work during the Legion leveling process. That's not the case for BfA right now, but I would assume that 8.2 will bring that in. So yes, they're a little bit weaker, but they're also a bit faster. Now, if you're on the faction with the Warmode Call to Arms bonus, you'll get 30% XP from that. Then if you have heirlooms, then say an 8.2, then you will kind of be looking at the best part of a level for doing one of these. And that's not too far off the Legion situation. But what's interesting is they have another component that the Legion invasions did not have. An experience boost. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. So, leveling characters will get an experience boost after completing an assault. So the intent is to have you run off and do a bunch of world content and stuff like that, after your, your assault. Now, this can be somewhat optimized, so players who are leveling through expeditions would really want to get that buff for doing their expeditions. Then it might be worth getting that buff and maybe knocking out some bonus objectives, perhaps the ones available in a zone that you're not doing in your regular leveling run. Now, this might not be the fastest in 8.1 because of travel time, but it could be a good idea in 8.2 once flying is unlocked. Next, the new experience potion and service medals. So, the service medals, these are from doing a few different types of content in BfA, and levelers really do get a lot out of them. There is a new experience potion and new heirlooms. Now, the heirlooms don't confer any additional experience gains, but they are really powerful. At level 60, it gave 50 crit or haste. Now, an average level 72 character has a total of 150 of those stats, which means that the trinket is an insane increase in power. Of course, when its on-use effect is actually used. Now, what's more relevant is that the trinket buffs your whole group, but more on that later. Now, the next thing is the experience potion. It gives you 10% experience, bonus, and it also increases all your stats by 10. Now, that 10 stat, that's very useless at, level 110, but for the lower levels, it's really awesome. And this basically is active across all of the games, so that's a further 10% reduction to XP, on top of the reductions that we already have. So these new potions cost 5 service medals, and they do persist through death. Now, you can purchase them from the war medallion or medal NPCs, and their location is on the screen. You'll get 1 for completing each incursion world quest. That'll be like 6 per incursion, with many incursions, being active per week. So I imagine you'll get quite a few of them. Now, you might get some of the incursion meta quest at the end one, but we haven't been able to test that in the PTR right now, and the numbers are slightly up in the air. Past that, you can get 15 for doing a war front. Of course, that'll be up twice as often because the Darkshore Warfront will be active at the same time as Stromgarde. The rest of the Warfront quests also give you a chance of getting medals. So chances are these will be a little bit tight on launch, but you'll probably be swimming in them later on, although there are some expensive rewards that you might like, such as the new mounts and the high item level rings that also have a Dazara lore or Borealis teleport, a little bit like the Kirin Tor ring, but still, that's pretty good. Now, past that, there's also the new heirlooms, and these are pretty damn good. Then just to round out the costs, look, the heirlooms do cost the equivalent of quite a few potions, so you probably do want to focus on the potions first, but I'll talk about the trinkets later on when we get into the more strategy-focused part of this video. Okay, next, flight points. So this is actually really, really important. Now, doing these assaults on alts really wouldn't be that time efficient if you were just manually running across the world to them. Well, the good news is that patch 8.1 has a bind on account flight point book that will be available, and it will unlock flight points for your alts. So past that, you'll just want to be sure to unlock the opposite factions content through the war campaign, and that will give you easy access to assaults on both continents and a boatload of experience. Okay, next, let's just talk about tips, tricks, and strategy. So, islands. These have been a very solid way to level up, and a coordinated group of friends playing well would be able to level through these faster than questing. To be honest though, I do personally think it's really boring. Now, these can be exploited a little bit because of the level 111 Twinks, which of course will be a bit more powerful as of Battle for Azeroth Season 2. Now, they can have an island be cleared in like 4 to 5 minutes. The heirloom trinkets won't work for level 111 plus though, and those heirloom trinkets would be extremely powerful, but in patch 8.2, if the heirloom trinkets worked in BfA content, we've already covered how powerful they are. They're like a mini heroism, really, so that could be a way to group and burn through these really quite fast indeed. Now, as for the islands themselves, well, they've mostly been changed to have less trash, better spawning, and more of a focus on mini-bosses and events. Now, it does seem to be a lot more enjoyable, however, it may not be as fast as the colossal single pool run with a 1-1 twink that is one of the popular very fast leveling methods, but from talking to Preach, it seems to be the time to finish an expedition is about the same in this patch, with the main difference being that they're actually a good bit more fun and the rewards are just a little bit more consistent. Next, let's hop over to some general tips. So, Azeroth AutoPilot is a fantastic leveling add-on that was a massive time saver for Battle for Azeroth and Legion Quest content. And what's quite nice is that it is being developed to support 20 through 60 content, which is going to be a great boost to leveling speeds in the old world. Now, I'm not sure where they will be in development by the time this video and 8.1 comes out, but from looking at their progress through their betas, it seems to be going quite well, and I'll leave a note on screen in the edit to let you know what stuff's like for the date that this video launches. Next, a handy leveling tip that I think a lot of people don't know about is hunting for rares when going 20 through 60. They actually give you just under 1 quest worth of experience, so it really is worth doing them. Now, what you want to do is install NPC Scan. That will give you an alert whenever one of them is nearby, and I just recommend checking, say, the world map, maybe with handy notes or something like that. When you're traveling to a quest area, you can probably pick up 1 or 2 of these guys on the way and get a really nice boost in XP. Next, let's talk about those new trinkets. So, the new trinkets seem to be insanely powerful, and if you are leveling with a group of friends, then the use of them in a coordinated fashion throughout a dungeon run would let you speedrun the dungeon super fast. Now, this is brilliant for, say, knocking out all the dungeon quests and getting the dungeon completion rewards, which are really quite XP efficient, provided you're in a decent group. So, if you are leveling with a pack of friends through dungeons, then 8.1 is bringing these trinkets. They might be worth investing in, and it will be a nice little bump to your speed. Okay, next, let's just round it all out with overall leveling recommendations. So, if you are a solo leveler, I would just recommend questing and just playing decently efficiently. Make use of that rare mob XP trick and use a decently optimized route. The 7.3.5 scaling changes really are your friend now that Blizzard have nerfed XP requirements. You get the benefit of never outleveling zones, but you now have a greatly reduced XP requirement, and I actually think this might make leveling faster than in the past because of the amount of travel time that used to be caused by outleveling zones. It was really large, and now that's no longer a factor, and XP is reduced, so it should be a very smooth, fast, and seamless process. Once you hit Legion, be sure to make use of the invasions whenever they're up. They'll net you a level with heirlooms, maybe slightly more if you have the 5% XP gem and the experience potion. Also do remember that the invasion experience is actually still good from level 110 to 111. Past that though, with BfA, I just recommend leveling as normal, maybe using Azeroth Autopilot, but then also doing the assaults whenever they appear. They're a lot faster to do than the previous ones, especially if you have a flight point book so that you can get to them super quick. And then of course they will give you an XP boost for an hour after you've completed them, which is also quite nice to have. So really, that's what's up for leveling new characters in patch 8.1. It's a massive increase to your leveling speed across the board, and even the Battle for Azeroth zones are going to go by a good bit faster with the assaults and the experience boost. Ultimately, having everything maxed out for me is going to be really handy for the channel, so this is when I'm going to be embarking the very long task of getting my full crew of level 110s all the way up to 120 in preparation for, class reviews and various things like that. So that's it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and a big thank you to Skillshare for supporting the channel, especially in these worrying Article 13 days where, 40% of what the channel earns could just be deleted by Article 13 overnight in the future. It's very nice to have great partners on board. So thank you to them, thank you to you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time.